stated. We are going to hop into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Kalista banned away, of course. Deft, not really a Kalista player, played it a whole lot at MSI, always trying to get it onto the ban list of their opposing team, but no one really falling for it. Of course, Deft is much better at other champions, and generally EDG want to remove that one from the board. The first Sivir ban, ladies and gentlemen. Vici Gaming, they finally caught on to what's been happening.
To say the least, it took them long enough to finally get a Sivir ban out on the Champion Select. Finally getting rid of the Sivir. Now there's the Sivir and Kalista ban. AD carries start to become a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's true, and we'll see whether Endless does go back to Illusion or whether Deft is going to pick that one up. Of course, Carry, again, not going to be on the Hecarim as Amazing J. He likes playing that as well. Of course, Amazing J, more of a teleport Ignite Hecarim player of old. One of the first to play that one there on the top side of the map for Energy Pacemaker, but Jinx is banned away as well, and I'm just going to get to the point where there's just no AD carries left.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing a trend here. Hecarim actually banned 4 out of the 5 games against Vici Gaming, so it seems to be a scary thing on carry, and they do not want him having that. But let's talk about the Jinx ban a little bit more, I suppose. That's now 3 AD carries completely wiped off the board. Urgot's still available, and with all of these AD carries being banned, and EDG having the first pick, they don't need to ban an AD carry.
No, and we'll see what's going to happen here and whether EDG is sort of pigeonholed into picking up sort of one of the remaining AD carry options here, depending on what they want to go for as far as their comp is concerned. Gragas is going to hit the bench, so Dandy not going to be on that one, but of course, I mean, that's picking it away from Clearlove as well, and we'll see what EDG have in their minds as far as what this first pick is going to be, because one glaring hole is the fact that there is nothing banned away from the mid lane.
Nothing from the mid, nothing from the jungle either, besides the Gragas. So there's still the Rek'Sai, the Nunu, all of these champions available to be picked. So this last ban will kind of dictate where they want it to go for the first pick as well. Or it could be nothing.
No, Vici just going to leave it.
Yes.
Interesting. Not entirely sure just yet whether they've lost a ban, ladies and gentlemen. Generally, that is done in the first ban as opposed to the last ban, so might have been just strategic. Don't know. Strategically not banning.
Let's call it a thing.
Yeah. Look, not sure. Unless they're banning a champion that's, I don't know, that doesn't have a name or a picture.
This seems to be a small shout out to Amazing J, by the way, hovering the Garen. The only Garen bro from the LPL, and with the Black Cleaver coming out in this patch, I'm not surprised if he does decide to pick up the Garen again.
Oh,
he seems to have picked up in skill a fair bit.
Oh, well, Amazing J is a phenomenal player. He always picked very strange things there in the top lane. Was, I think, one of the first to start playing the Jarvan in the top lane as well when you were picking it away from the opposing jungler. It was a fantastic idea. Endless, he's going to pick away the Urgot, and that's alongside the Alistar as well. And we've seen this with so much success very recently at the same time. So Vici with a powerful bottom lane already picked away, and hasn't really pigeonholed themselves into anything just yet.
No, they haven't pigeonholed themselves at all, and the Urgot Alistar is an extremely strong lane. They may, as we have seen lately, look to lane swap with the Urgot Alistar. It seems to be because the level 1's not all that strong that they might opt into that, but definitely a very strong outright bot lane and not a lot of AD carries left.
Yeah, Bamey thinking about his decision here. Azir is up, but he is going to still pick away the Cassiopeia. Endless also hovering over the Garen. Like it a lot.
I wouldn't be surprised again if the Azir is picked as the response to the Cassiopeia. They seem to be going hand in hand since the start of the LPL Summer split. Every time one's banned, they tend to have the other either banned as well or picked away.
Yeah, does seem to be the thing. Of course, Dandy's seen a lot of success on his Sejuani so far. Hasn't actually lost a game on it. Of course, has only played one. So still, 100% win rate, not too bad at all. Hatong not going to be picking his own Azir, but it is going to be locked in. So Bamey up against Hatong on the Azir Cassiopeia match, and we've seen, you know, it go either way, but it is, of course, a bit of a skill match up there. Deft is hovering yet another Vayne. My gosh, and oh my goodness, if Deft does decide to go with the Ezreal here, I am so incredibly excited. I didn't get to cast his last Ezreal game that he played in the LPL, but man, that guy squeezes out so much extra damage from that champion, and I just never knew that Ezreal was capable of it, but it's not going to happen, and I believe that Deft's Cogmore seems like a little bit of a better option because, of course, he's played it so much.
Now, he is opting into the Cogmore, never mind. I was going to say he didn't have a whole lot of support, but Now that they've changed to the Morgana at the last second, the Kog'Maw does seem to make a little bit more sense. They've got a lot of hyper carries on this EDG lineup.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the front line of the Rek'Sai Gnar. Morgana's a very good enabling or disengaging style of support, so can do a lot to protect the Kog'Maw with the Black Shield, or can use the Dark Bindings, as we have seen earlier, to engage and secure an initiation for the Gnar and the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and of course, having a Black Shield here for any priority target that is going to be in the way of this Sejuani from Dandy. If Dandy's able to land, like we know he can, a whole lot of these Glacial Prisons throughout this game, EDG's lives are going to be very difficult. And Carry hopping back onto a pick that he's very much liked in the past, the Rumble coming out. And there is a lot of mid-game power here with the likes of the Rumble plus the Urgot here. And as soon as Dandy hits that level 6, if Glacial Prison works out for them in a Dragon fight early on, that can turn this whole game.
Definitely.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Edward Gaming taking on Vici for our final game of the evening. Hatong and Bamey already finding out that Bamey isn't going to hit the first poison. The Noxious Blast not coming in.
Well, they certainly found that out together, holding hands as they missed the first Cassiopeia Q.
Yep.
Azir not going to be able to do anything about that. EDG and Vici Gaming right now starting very standard with a fan. No deep wards, nothing really going out at all until the 1 minute mark where the wards start to come out, and it is a neutral position.
Yeah, and there's a lot of sort of poisonous stuff coming out of EDG at the moment. You know, the Cassiopeia, lots of poison. Of course, Kog'Maw as well is just oozing goo everywhere.
It's more bile than poison, I would say.
Yeah, still it's gross in sort of a liquid form.
If we define poison and bile as gross, then I guess they're both poison.
That's my casual definition that I've gone for.
If it's gross, it's poison.
Yeah, nailed it. Flask is not going to be the option here for Endless, though. He's going for the longsword, a little bit more combat statistics there in the bottom lane, but may run out of mana relatively early on, but we'll see whether he can get to that 700 gold mark, pick up that Tear of the Goddess before having to go back to base. But lane swap looks to be it for Vici Gaming, not wanting to lane against Mako and Deft.
Yeah, this would explain why the longsword start seems to be coming out as well. Urgot's going to start and get one of the small Krugs, I believe, before heading to lane. Looking to get that experience advantage as soon as possible, because the level 1 of the Urgot Alistar is not that strong until you have the Headbutt Pulverize combo and you have all of the spells of the Urgot available. So smartly lane swapping, and we have seen this happening a fair bit.
Yeah, and I find it interesting the fact that he still took away the small Krug when he was going to have a solo lane anyway.
Just a little bit of extra experience. You're never going to complain, and you will get level 3 a lot quicker, and that's what you want, is Mako being a big pest.
Yeah, the Puddle actually doing a bunch of work here to Carry and Dandy, both of them down to about 400 and 300 health respectively. Mako just being annoying is just something that you're going to do as these supports, and Mako was one of the first to start doing this at the same time, as Teleport is going to be used by Amazing J, knows that the junglers are heading towards the top side, but they're not going to be ready for a dive just yet, and he might be safely able to pick up a little bit of experience and gold, potentially, as this wave crashes into the turret.
Yeah, at least for this moment, he's going to be able to get a bit of farm. And he's got some experience. He's level 2. Most of the dives tend to come out when they are starved and stuck at level 1. So he's going to be in an okay position. They may still look to dive. We're even seeing the ping saying that that's where they're going. We'll see what they look to do coming up in the next minute or so, but it doesn't really seem like it just yet.
Yeah, and Amazing J, known as being a very aggressive player, especially when he was on the team of Energy Pacemaker. Oh, Cannon Creep going to be missed here by Hatong. Disastrous for Vici here in the mid. And actually 17 to 11, Bamey doing very well in this matchup. And you mentioned the fact that this is going to be one of those matchups that goes in favor of Cassiopeia about level 2, but we'll see whether Hatong can hold on effectively. Only 6 CS behind for now.
Yeah, you're right. It's just about holding on right now, and you need to get past that early stages as the Urgot recalling very early. Doesn't even have the tier.
No, actually buying the components of a tier and then heading towards the bottom side, maybe looking towards getting themselves into that 2v2 matchup now that they've made it to level 3. Very interesting, though, that they'd want to try and get back into this one, especially with such an awkward buy timing.
Yeah, it seems as though the buy timing, it was based off the necessity to rotate. But then he could have maybe even just gone for the longsword and gone for a little bit more lane presence. The Mana Crystal is going to help a lot, though. Urgot always running out of mana.
Yeah, it's the Fairy Charm that we're sort of drawing question of. But Deft does have the wave now crashing into his turret. No freezes to come in. or anything like that, as Endless is trying to do the best that he can in order to just last hit where he can with these Acid Hunters. Bamey, though, does have Tear of the Goddess, 26 CS, and Hatong, as he stayed around for a little bit longer, was able to catch back up in farm.
Yeah, he's going to be perfectly fine there. And we're looking at the bot lane at the moment. The ideal goal is very similar to what I said about the mid lane. Kog'Maw just looking to survive now, get past this phase until he hits that big power spike with most likely the Trinity Force.
Yep.
And start to have an impact across the map at around the 15-minute mark if things go well.
Yeah, so sort of as soon as you get the Trinity Force and potentially the Berserker's Greaves, it's when things are going to get A-OK here for this Kog'Maw. But look, we'll see how things are going to go and whether he does go for that Blade of the Ruined King build. What's your sort of ideal Kog'Maw build? Because every analytical caster has a different idea for what the best way to build Kog'Maw is.
Well, the ideal Kog'Maw build would be Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer, just because that gives you the most damage. You've already got the Shred. But then if you're versing tanky people like we are in the Cinderhulk patch, I would change that to Blade of the Ruined King Trinity Force, which is the most common Kog'Maw build at the moment. It shreds health, and it gives you some effective damage and tanky stats from the Trinity Force, some move speed bonuses. Every single aspect of the items, as Marta's having a little dance,
Yep.
works perfectly for the Kog'Maw in the Cinderhulk patch.
And we'll see whether he is going to go towards that Blade of the Ruined King. I'm not really much of a fan of it. I don't know whether I like
it. Has been changed in 5.8, by the way.
That is
so
true. It's a little bit
stronger.
A little bit stronger.
That's right.
And it might have been sort of, it's been a long time since I've sort of had my sort of dislike for the Blade of the Ruined King on Kog'Maw, because Bio-Arcane Barrage is just so much percentage health damage that you're already doing that I think you just may as well build a Phantom Dancer or something like that, just have more attack speed, do more Bio-Arcane Barrage damage.
Yeah, I guess, and it does the shred. So with the Blade of the Ruined King, it does more shred. That's something to think about.
Yeah.
Whereas Phantom Dancer, you can crit with it, and it's got very long range.
Yeah, it's despicable. This carry is going to get hypered here by Amazing J, of course. Amazing J, coined as one of the most impressive mini-Gnar players. Not necessarily a Mega Gnar player, but his ability to team fight as mini-Gnar has been wonderful, which is very strange.
That is very strange. So what you're basically saying to me is he'd be very good at Teemo.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I love you, Amazing J. I would never say something like that.
That's indirectly what you meant, though.
No,
you might want to rethink that.
No, I'm rethinking it right now. It's awful. Not very happy about this whole situation. Clearlove is going to be able to tunnel his way away from the Gromp as I try desperately to change the subject. Amazing J's a Garen player, man. He's not a Teemo player.
Not stooping to that level.
I think they might actually be similes. Not entirely sure. Dandy going fairly low to this blue buff as Hatong's going to do his best to try and clear this one out. But so far, not a whole lot happening in this game. I mean, I guess EDG are eking out slight advantages as far as the gold is concerned, but that's just a little bit of extra farm here and there. Urgot lane is going fine here for the Urgot, but as this game stretches out, if this game stays passive, who's that working for?
Well, the longer this game starts to stretch out, the biggest thing that you need to consider is who's going to be carrying the game. So if we look at the side of Vici right now, they've got a lot of mid-game strength. They've got that Rumble, the Sejuani combo together, and then Urgot hits that big power spike around the mid-game. So Endless is going to be massive, Carry's going to be massive, and then we've got Dandy to enable a big team fight as Rumble just farming the waves with his ultimate. But if we have a look at the side of EDG, when it comes to team fighting and who's going to be really important, in the mid-game fights, the Cassiopeia and the Kog'Maw are going to do damage, but it's not going to be as much as what they'll do later in the game. So you'll look at the Gnar and maybe see how he can enable a fight with the Rek'Sai and really allow those two carries who aren't at optimal amounts of damage yet to do as much as possible to let them win a fight.
Yeah, and in the later stages, is there going to be a theoretical way to have Bamey and Deft able to get the maximum DPS down? Because we talk about Cassiopeia all the time as being sort of this short-range hyper carry with the most incredible damage over time that you could ever expect. But that sort of involves having Vici Gaming sort of lining up and facing her so that she can shoot them all with Twin Fangs. But is that ever going to be the case? Because Dandy's there, he's going to be throwing out his ultimate. Hatong's going to be Emperor's dividing everyone around, controlling the area. How does Bamey go about getting his damage down?
Well, so first and foremost, if they're looking to have a fight in a 5v5 situation, you don't want to fight in the jungle.
No.
You're up against the Rumble and Sejuani combo. Carry and Dandy would do way too much. So you need to find a situation where you're fighting as an open space like a lane, or at least in the river, which is a bit more open than that of, say, a choke point near the red buff. So you want to have Baimi in a situation where he's not going to get instantly killed and stuck on top of an equalizer, where he can turn around after the Sejuani ult and be aggressive and make them really start to hurt after they don't get the perfect initiation. Of course, that's an assumption that they don't get the perfect initiation.
Well, this is the thing, and I guess Cassiopeia is sort of known as this champion that's fantastic if you're running away and the enemy team is sort of closing in on you, and then you're able to turn it around with the perfect Petrifying Gaze into a Gnar ultimate potentially. But look, we'll see whether EDG can manage to get that one to work, because of course on paper, the amount of damage that this team comp is capable of is despicable.
Yeah, and I guess the big question is going to be on the back of Mako, is Rumble getting aggressive?
Yeah, using that Flame Spitter onto Amazing J. Amazing J just taking it like a man, as the equalizer did come down as well. There's a flash swap though. Endless trying to get some work done onto Deft, who does have the black shield now. Nice use of the living artillery, but oh, there's the flash into the pulverize. Deft gets exhausted. Everything used to take down the Void Puppy. Meanwhile, on the top lane, the teleport comes in. Amazing J gnaws them into the wall. Can't actually see what's going on just yet, ladies and gentlemen, but man, manages to pick up the kill. Nothing else going to come from it.
Yeah, really great Gnar teleporters. Our screen's just
unfortunately turned off just a little bit, but we still saw what happened. It was still wonderful.
It was a great teleport, and it looked like it was really bad because of how low he was. His Clear Love's going in.
Yeah, Hetong actually is going to get Petrifying Gazed, and the ultimate just not hitting Clear Love. Wasn't quite in range in order to scoop him back into that turret with the Emperor's Divide, and Hetong, he's going to fall down. EDG, they're starting the snowball.
And a smart rotation straight away, even from Mako after the fight in the bot lane. Come mid, Clear Love was going to dive anyway. A great ultimate from Baimi, stopping.
It's not often that we see the Petrifying Gaze actually get the stun.
Yeah, that's correct. And it was absolutely perfectly placed as well. The same time as Clear Love going in, the stun was there, and that allows the Rek'Sai to do free damage and get out with his life. Unfortunately, the ultimate from Azir not going too well, and Hetong just missing that one.
Yeah, this is actually something about Baimi that's working out here for EDG, is the fact that Pawn hasn't always been the most, I guess, adept Cassiopeia player. He's fantastic at almost every other champion, but we've seen the likes of EasyHoon really do things on the champion of Cassiopeia that Pawn just hasn't demonstrated so far on the EDG lineup. But Baimi playing this one out very well.
Yeah, and I can safely say at the present moment that Cassiopeia is infinitely more important than any other champion at the moment, besides maybe even the Azir, because they just seem to be consistently played or banned from one another.
It's most definitely a good point, as Amazing J got a lot of Naba, just hypering carry, as of course Gnar is just a really frustrating champion to lane against. There's the wallop onto carry as well. The Gnar ultimate almost back available as Clear Love. He's trying to get some work done. Beautiful equalizer placement as carry is going to get Gnar into the wall. Clear Love's going to die as Amazing J. One last turret shot. Not going to be enough, and they go 1 for 1. I guess with the fact that there is an assist going over, it does mean that EDG come out on top, but if Dandy manages to pick up the Dragon, that is going to be a victory for Vici.
Yeah, straight away the rotation to the Dragon, very smartly played by Dandy. Well done from Carry to live as long as he did there on that Rumble, putting the equalizer down and forcing them to dive him and take a lot of health. Clear Love dying and almost going down as well as Amazing J, but they do get the turret in the top lane. That was close.
Yeah, Mako almost lands the Dark Binding, but gets a puddle there as well. So Dandy goes down low, but is able to solo out that Dragon. Haunting guys and, in fact, the Arm Guard as well there for carry. So well on his way to picking up the items that he wants. We talk about the Sorcerer's Shoes Haunting guys combo as being sort of the linchpin of a mid-game Rumble build. Of course, pretty cheap, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know exactly when you can get down a pretty sweet equalizer, it's when you've got those two items, and they're pretty affordable.
Yeah, very cost efficient. They provide flat penetration, so it's very good for mid-game fights, and that's where the Rumble really starts to excel. And we've mentioned it a couple of times. You put that with the Sejuani, and then mid-game team fighting is really strong. And that might be the point where you see Vici want to turn this game on its head. And it is a 3.8k gold lead in favor of EDG at the moment. Once it hits mid-game around the 20-minute mark, that might change.
It may potentially. Baimi has managed to take down the outer turret, here in the mid lane. As Dandy around the Raptors as Baimi makes his way back to lane. Of course, don't want to stand too far forward in a lane as Cassiopeia. Of course, your mobility is augmented a little bit if you manage to land the Noxious Blast, but other than that, you're a bit of a sitting duck.
And an interesting adaptation on item builds here from Baimi, going straight for the Abyssal Scepter. as we said, you don't like to be in the face of someone as Cassiopeia. It seems that Baimi really does want to be in their face and use that aura against them.
Yeah, well, it's true. I guess if you're going to be landing your damage, the Twin Fang range is going to be that of the Abyssal Scepter, so you're always, if you're doing the damage, going to be doing it within that range. But I really liked yesterday seeing the Cassiopeia builds involving the Leandry's Torment and the Riley's Crystal Scepter. But Carrie's in trouble. Amazing J May also, as he scoops back the members of Vici. Amazing J is going to be able to flash himself to safety, but that's a lot of resources there on the top side of the map. We'll see whether Deft and Mako are going to do anything on the bottom side, but doesn't quite look like it just yet, as Amazing J going to hop back into midi now, and everything's going to be fine. He's just such a frustrating player to deal with, of course, always harassing you, always being annoying.
Yeah, and it's very hard to initiate onto a Mega now. And Amazing J able to just use that ultimate, scoop him away, and walk to safety with having to use the flash, but still got the teleport available. And I just want to point out at this stage, Def does have his Trinity Force. He's completely foregone boots or anything else, straight for that Trinity Force, wanting to accelerate his power at the very least in laning phase.
Yeah, so he's going to have some tools to do that. Of course, Manamune for Endless is there, as well as the Phage. Ruby Crystal being built up, probably wants to go towards that Kindle Gem, and then eventually the Black Cleaver does seem to be the new way of building the Urgot. Endless able to use his abilities in order to kill out these creeps. And Baimi taking himself a blue buff. If anyone wants a blue buff, it's probably a Cassiopeia.
Yeah, definitely think that they need that blue buff quite badly. About a 15 CS lead here in the mid lane and a kill in favor of Baimi. So he's in a very good position, this Cassiopeia, looking exceptionally strong. And it's going to take a little bit longer for Azir to really start to power up and hit that point where he can 1v1 Cassiopeia.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough for Azir as well, I guess, staying in this lane in a 1v1. But is he going to be fine when we get into these team fights? Because, of course, Morellonomicon, he's got decent AP. Is it going to be enough to be able to get some work done around this mid-game, especially when you're pairing it up against with the likes of Sejuani and the Rumble, who are going to have all of their ultimate damage?
I think at this moment, it's not going to come down to the Azir at all if a big team fight comes out. He's going to be there, he's going to be doing a lot of damage, but that's not really comparable at this stage to Baimi, who is just going to be doing ridiculous amounts of work. It's going to come down to the Rumble Sejuani. Kog'Maw, very strong right now. Cassiopeia, very strong right now. Even Nah, 2-0-0, has a lot of stats and a lot of mid-game style items. The Hex Drinker, Merc Treads, and the Spectral's Cow finish. So it seems to me as though they are looking to speed this game up a bit and start grouping around when the dragon spawns.
My goodness, Baimi actually going back, picking up an Archangel Staff from a tier. So that was a lot of gold that he was sitting on. 172 CS here, 20 in the lead as the Dark Binding does find Endless, but he's pretty tanky with all of those health items, and Deft actually taking a fair bit in return.
Yeah, he is quite tanky. He has the Phage and the Health Crystal to boot. It's going to be that Black Cleaver, and Clearlove stalking around here, wants to find the time to gank, and now's as good a time as any.
Yeah, trying to get amongst it. Of course, Alistair, bit of a nightmare for a jungler. Of course, you just get head-butted away. Dandy going to try and take away this pink ward, but Hatong, he's hanging around. Dark Binding not going to find its mark. EDG looking to try and set up position. A minute away from the dragon. Baimi does walk over a ward on his way down. Does have to be careful. He might be able to set up position here in the river, forcing Hatong to walk all the way around. He knows that he cannot walk into a Cassiopeia without being able to see it.
No, he's got to show some respect to that Cassiopeia.
Oh, yeah.
Extremely scary. And I just want to point out how clever it was, the ward that they placed here, Vici Gaming, on the backside of that tri-bush.
Ah, yeah.
Was not in range of the pink ward and spotted the Rek'Sai walking into the bush. And he sat there for a very long time. It allowed them to rotate, and that's why we saw the Azir come down just to do a bit of damage to the Rek'Sais. They knew he was there.
Oh, precisely. So also not playing too far forward on the side of Vici Gaming. Wasting a bit of Clearlove's time. And Clearlove is one of those players that uses his time very, very well. Martyr and Endless. Ooh,
this is cute.
They want to pick something up.
Mako didn't get any money from that just there.
Oh, Dandy does find the double ultimate. There's the Emperor's Divide as well. Deft trying to escape, but he's exhausted. Beautiful Pulverize. Hatong just auto-attacks him to death. And man, Vici, they just pick up the bottom lane easy as you like. Carry finds his way in as well. Equalizer's available. And this is going to be the second dragon for Vici. Beautiful play.
That was the right place at the right time. They had a lot of war control and knowledge of where to be. You could see the bot lane trying desperately to get a cute little gank off. Wasn't even necessary. Azir hitting the amazing insect. They're starting this dragon up. They've got the Rumble ult and the Urgot ultimate available.
Yeah, Mata, he's used the Unbreakable Will here, but just going to wait until this one comes in. Mata actually died there, but it is going to be Dandy locking away the dragon. Nice equalizer to try and zone, but doesn't quite find it. Flash into the double knock up, and oh, amazing. Jay misses the Gnar due to a beautiful flash over the wall. Endless able to save his own life there, and we're used to some pretty decent Gnars, and that was going to be okay, I guess, but Amazing Jay does only finds air.
It was going to be a good ult. Extremely well done, exceptionally smartly played. They did suicide the Alistar. Mata going down for the dragon, selflessly throwing himself at them to ensure that that was smited away. And from that point on, they pretty much just kited backwards. They had the equalizer put down in a defensive position to ensure that they were able to get away. And Endless holding onto that flash for as long as possible and essentially baiting out the Gnar ult before flashing.
Yeah.
Saving his skin. Doing very well.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And EDG not exactly having the easiest ride through this game. Of course, there has been pretty, I guess, seamless victories for EDG, being able to sort of play whatever they want. But Vici really handing it to them this time around. And it just shows that Dandy, the man on your screen right now, if he's able to pick the Sejuani and get to a position without being hindered in the early stages, is really able to make things happen in these team fights.
Yeah, EDG's first 2 games were won in 26 and 27 minutes respectively. So very convincing early wins. This game does not look like it's going to be that whatsoever. They've changed up the team comps, mind you. They're looking to scale into a later stage in this game where they start to hit those big power spikes, and they're not far away from it now. So things might start to change, but based off what we just saw, we know it's entirely possible for Vici Gaming to catch them in a bad position and win a team fight very convincingly.
Yeah, and of course, I guess when you do have a Kog'Maw and a Cassiopeia, Baron might be something that they're going to look at very, very early on the side of EDG. And as we head back into the game, Baron is sitting at about 2,000 health. So that is going to be a 20-minute Baron. And we've spoken about this before. EDG, they take very early Barons.
Now, I did say that they would spike hard at around the 20-minute mark, and it seems as though they were well aware of that fact, forcing the 20-minute Baron the second it spawned and getting that down straight away. It's really hard to clear Baron minions at 20 minutes when you don't do that much damage yourself.
That is so true. And of course, they've already got a few of the turrets on this map. The bottom outer is still standing, but a couple already dead for EDG. They're going to try and push forward, and they've got a lot of wave clear on this squad at the same time. Of course, Deft, he's a bit of a siege unit, able to throw out the living artillery and then Bio-Arcane Barrage, giving him so much range in order to get some damage off onto these turrets. He's going to head towards the bottom side, make sure that they don't lose the bottom lane turret, and we'll see whether EDG are going to use this Baron in order to actually siege, or whether they're just picking up for the money and just trying to get towards the later stages of the game. Endless is waiting for this turret to kill as many minions as possible before auto-attacking it to death.
Yeah, unfortunately still too many minions, so it is going to continue to push. But we look at the side of Vici Gaming, and their wave clear against the siege isn't necessarily worth noting whatsoever. They've got an Azir, and then they've got an Equalizer. That's not a whole lot. And then you look at the side of EDG, and they're definitely able to siege. The thing is, Vici Gaming's side are very able at stopping sieges just by going all in and fighting. So it's almost too risky to put yourself with no mobility carries on the Cassiopeia and Deft on the Kog'Maw to actually siege, because Urgot will ult you straight away and then you're done.
Yeah, that is a problem. And so what do you do against a comp like this that just wants to engage on you as soon as you group up as 5? Do you need to split push? Who are they going to use for that? As Dandy is going to Arctic Assault his way out of there, but he's going to be safe. Yeah, what do you do against this comp that just wants to all in all the time?
So essentially, because they have the Baron at such an early stage, they're able to control minion waves a lot easier. Now, they can put people in split push in lanes, and as I say that, Vici are doing that. You can put them, say, 1-3-1, control the minion waves. You've got the teleport available very soon, the same time as Rumbles, in fact. And then you can control areas of the map, because the minions are always going to be in your favor because they were Baron minions and they were stronger. So you can be more aggressive with your placement of wards, more aggressive with just map control in general, and start to choke Vici Gaming out while the Baron buff is active.
And we'll see whether they do it because, of course, Deft very close to this bottom lane inner turret. Doesn't want to go too deep, of course. The threat of a swap The hyperkinetic position reverser from Endless is a dangerous prospect for the squishy little Void puppy, and he's been focused down a couple of times already. Staying very relevant in the farm, to his credit, but the Deft hasn't really had a chance to get going this game.
Now, it definitely is worth noting now, as we just spoke about the potential for them wanting to be in aggressive and be in deep and place those deep wards. There's about 7 to 8 wards on the blue side jungle of Vici Gaming, around the Dragon area, and a lot of control now, heavily in favor of EDG in the jungle of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and so of course EDG using that Baron more for some just pressure around the map, making sure that they can suffocate Vici Gaming out of all of their vision, which is pretty mental to talk about this because Dandy and Mud are sort of known when they were on Samsung White to be this vision kings moving in.
That's about 14 blue wards on the map.
That is despicable.
That is a lot of wards.
It's like they just killed Baron, so they said, okay, 300 gold to spend on vision, boys and girls, go pick them up.
And it seems to be exactly what they did. That is a lot of, that's too many wards for sight stones to be even relevant. That's exceptional.
Pretty crazy, and that's all of the pink wards on the map too, I believe, at the same time. Marta is going to get knocked up, but just going to clear away some tunnels here as well, as Hetong really wants to pick up a blue buff. Clearlove doesn't manage to smite it away, I don't think. Did he manage to get it? I don't know.
I don't think he did.
No, I think Hetong got it. He did. He did.
Yeah, Hetong got it.
Crazier things have happened, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to ask the question. Deft is able to clear out this ward in the bottom lane. And man, you're exactly right. So much vision. There are 5 pink wards, and they're lining the river here. EDG are going to know exactly what Vici are doing permanently until they can clear out all of this pink ward vision.
Yeah. Dragon up in 40 seconds as well, so the pink wards are in the perfect position. And it's worth noting, I suppose, while we're waiting for the Dragon to spawn and there's not a whole lot of action happening, that the way that pink wards are placed can dictate how you feel someone is winning in this game right now. And based off 5 pink wards being placed on the side of EDG and barely any placed from Vici, you feel like EDG are definitely in control.
Yeah, it's actually going to be Dandy finding the swap here in the backside as Amazing J actually bounces away from the fight. Does have the Mega Gnar though as Marta. He's going in so deep. Look at the equalizer on top of Def, but he flashes out of the way. Can he get the damage down as Endless? He's down to half health, but the EDG members are so low. Carry gets destroyed. Endless now taking so much as Amazing J leapfrogs over the top of him. Cassiopeia doing despicable damage. Deft eventually dies. It seems to be all Vici want to do this game, but when he's the only one dead and you have 4 down, you have to rethink your strategy.
It started off really well on the side of Vici. They hit that combo, the equalizer and the Sejuani ultimate, and it was looking quite good for them. Instantly, Amazing J flashed and used that Gnar ultimate, knocked them all away. Cassiopeia hit the clutch ultimate as well, straight after everything was used, and we're about to see a replay of this start. So, initiating very early here, Endless using the ultimate and pushing them all into a very awkward position. Jumping away was Amazing J, and this is where Vici hit that sick engage that was looking good until Amazing J instantly reacts and flashes at them, and then Cassiopeia comes in and comes up very huge, hitting this ultimate, blowing up Carry. He was facing away as well at the same time, so doing no damage. And for the rest of this fight, Hetong does get a kill here onto Def, but it's almost too little too late, and they pick up a successful fight in their favor.
Yeah, Cathy in Surprise was unable to do too much apart from clear away some minions, but 6,000 gold now the lead for EDG. The Dragon was taken, I believe, afterwards for EDG. We didn't see it quite go down, but it is definitely in the back pockets of EDG, so 6% stats now belong to them. They are going to be able to answer the 2 Dragons already picked up from Vici, and Vici probably wanted to have Dragon as one of their objectives that they could go for because, of course, they've got this engage comp. They've got this comp that really wants to be destroying the high-priority targets easily from range with the Equalizer and the Glacial Prison.
That's it, and you can tell they started to accelerate the builds again. Azir's gone for that Stinger build. He's got the Death Cap done now.
I like
so
that build.
I do love that build as well. So good for Azir. And he's doing a lot of damage. So they started to ramp up what they were capable of doing in a 5v5 team fight. And it starts to feel like at 27 minutes in the game and with about a 6k gold lead in favor of Edward Gaming, that last team fight was very important for Vici to come out ahead in. And now that they didn't win that fight, they did get some kills and make a trade, but they lost the Dragon and most of the members of their team. It now starts to get harder and harder for them to find the ideal engage.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's the fact that Vici didn't have sort of the map control after the fight that's the big deal as Mata. He might be caught out here just a little bit. The Unbreakable Will has been popped. Amazing J trying to make a menace of himself. Dark Binding finds a Tong, as well as Living Artillery is going to deter Vici from doing anything. Clearlove looks for the engage. The Equalizer put down, but only Mako tanking the damage. Dandy with a wonderful ultimate in the swap onto Baby. The Petrifying Gaze, though, immediately and ripping apart the members of Vici. Don't know whether Endless thought that was the best idea afterwards, because, man, that Petrifying Gaze was god tier, and the Baron just respawned just recently, and EDG will just lap that one up on a silver platter. But, Baby, that was probably one of the best ults that you're going to get handed to you yet.
Endless, endless, endless.
Oh, dear.
Giving Baby a silver platter of a Petrifying Gaze straight into all of them. The team fight started well again for Vici Gaming, and they got the massive Sejuani ultimate. The Equalizer did a lot of damage. They weren't jumping onto the carries of them either. So it all, again, started so well and just crumbled. One small mistake, one mechanical error, pulling the Cassiopeia directly in front of them where the Petrifying Gaze hit, and they died.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Endless then found himself having to deal with Clearlove and Amazing J with no one else there because he's over a wall. And I guess, you know, if the CC had gone down onto Baby before he could have got off the Petrifying Gaze, then maybe it would have been a different story. But, I mean, that's horses for courses. You just don't put a Cassiopeia with her ult up into your team when they're looking at her. That's silly.
And unfortunately, most of the CC was down. They just used it. So I guess unfortunate with the timing. And it was one small error, a decision-making error. And here we see Edward Gaming pulling out a 10k gold lead now.
Yeah, 29 minutes into the game. A bit longer than their first two victories, but still definitely ahead. 11,000 gold, like you mentioned. Rabbiden's death cap for Bamey as well. 4-0-3. Massive amount of minion kills as well. He'd have a whole lot of gold in his back pocket. Sitting on an elixir here at the same time as Arctic Assault needed to be used from Dandy after taking away the puppies.
It's not often that you mention at 28 minutes that 2 Barons have been taken already.
Yeah, on cooldown as well. I mean, I believe that was about 27 minutes, I guess. 27 and a half, which would have been when it came back up. But yeah, no, EDG are making this an accelerated Baron game. And I guess when you talk about EDG, you talk about them sort of, the main things that they want is to have Baron under control and then to win team fights.
Yeah, they control the area and then they have calculated aggression onto their opponents. And speaking of calculated aggression, they want this turret.
Yeah, Deft able to use that Bioarcane Barrage, do a lot of damage to the turret. If he wants to, decides that he's not going to, though. Siege Minion still hanging out, but they are going to be able to destroy it as EDG back away. Some big minion waves for Vici Gaming that EDG may need to attend to, but look at the vision that's still available for EDG. They ward all the way around where they're going to be moving. You can see they've got Amazing J there on the bottom side. They want to be rotating from mid to bottom lane as they're taking down these structures, and they've got all the vision to do so. And Hatong is almost dead. One more Living Artillery as he flashes and gets healed by Endless. That's 2 summoner spells for a potential R from Deft.
All it's going to take at this stage is the Black Shield going down onto Deft. While Amazing J pressures the bottom turret, they should be able to, at the very least, siege and get one of the turrets right now. They just have so much strength. They're hitting their stride at the right moments, and this turret is not too long for this world anymore.
Yeah, Deft. At half health, but not too worried about it, is Amazing J. He's just going to be able to pressure down the bottom lane inhibitor turret, and Vici Gaming just could not do anything. This Baron buff very, very strong. Equalizer was used, but EDG not really taking too much damage from it. Amazing J stacking up the Rage Bar, wants to find his way in the bounce on cooldown for a few more seconds, but Bamey and Deft standing at the back line of EDG. The first inhibitor is going to fall, and it looks like they're just happy to back away. The Dragon is coming up, and they don't want to give Vici an opportunity to pick up their third.
Yeah, very smart play backing off at the moment. Vici Gaming still have the team comp to be able to pull out a team fight and come out successful if they catch the right targets. Bamey and Deft, not exactly champions that are known for their mobility, being Kog'Maw and Cassiopeia.
No.
So smartly backing off, securing objectives, as EDG love to do ever so much, and take it a little bit slow, be more methodical in the way that they play out the rest of this game.
Yeah, and Deft now does, I guess, have the QSS. Of course, Mikhail's Crucible for Mako as well. So Deft 2 lives when it comes to surviving this CC. So I guess QSS for the swap and the Mikhails for the Glacial Prison.
Yeah. And I like that they've got a lot of Mercury treads as well on the side of Edward Gaming. They're picking up the 2 Mercury treads on the tank targets that are sitting in the front line.
Yep.
The 2 that know that they're going to get hit by all of the crowd control. Not exactly the same response right here from the side of Vici Gaming. They've got the Sork shoes that are a necessity to go down onto the Rumble. So
yeah,
every time that the team fight comes out, we've seen Vici Gaming initiate and be really aggressive about the way that they have to. That's because they have to. But the second that it turns around, the Petrifying Gaze comes out, they're basically stuck.
Yeah, they are most definitely stuck. We saw that happen before. I mean, as soon as that ult goes well there for Bamey, it's almost game over for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help when you have endless.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. We don't need... he's only new to the Vici Gaming squad, you know. There's no need to be too mean to Endless,
okay.
But I know exactly what you mean. It was pretty horrendous. Oh, the flash being forced after Amazing Day just crushes in on the Vici Gaming lineup. That mid lane inhibitor turret fairly low, and there are super creeps heading towards the bottom lane. Amazing J just being a menace. 4,000 health in Mega Gnar form as well. He's got the Black Cleaver. This is a lot of damage for this split pushing Gnar, and he's using it right. I mean, as soon as you have that Black Cleaver, you probably want to be split pushing. You can 1v1 really well.
You can 1v1 a lot better, and it also shreds armor for team fighting, so it just has so much relevance across the board. Even against the likes of an Urgot who's got that Glacial Shroud now, you're going to be taking away a lot of his armor by a percentage amount. So picking up the Black Cleaver is just such a great item, and look how much damage he does. Yeah,
Amazing J did get the Banshee's Veil popped as a nice headbutt did come through. Of course, that's a very easy way, ladies and gentlemen, to get the headbutt pulverized combo down. Because if someone has the Banshee's Veil, you're not going to knock them away. And you can just immediately pulverize. That is no problem at all.
That is very true. And Amazing J putting a lot of pressure onto this turret. He's just lost his Mega Gnar form, so he's going to be a lot more nimble. And he's going to be able to poke around that turret a lot more. The rest of EDG are just going to be pests in the top lane and force an aggressive initiation from the side of Vici Gaming. It's going to have to happen soon, or this turret will go down at the Nexus.
Amazing
J goes down.
Yeah, Amazing J just ignoring carry almost completely here. Is, I guess the saving grace for Vici Gaming is the fact that Hetong has so much wave clear. He's got the sort of trifecta, or the trinity of mid laner items in the Void Staff, Morellonomicon, and the Rabadon's Deathcap, as well as just a luxury stinger there. So able to clear out these minion waves very, very quickly. And EDG weren't able to get enough time with the turret.
You know what he needs? The Zephyr.
He does need the Zephyr. No. Maybe he gets... What does he get next? Probably a Zhonya's Hourglass. And then the Zephyr. As the Sun turret has been put up here. Dandy doing a lot of damage to Clearlove, who has to be careful. Everyone getting zoned. Bamey gets the Mikhails used on him there as the Equalizer, doing a lot of damage to the Snake Lady. Mako wants to try and find his way over the top, but not going to get there. Hetong, tons of damage coming out of this Azir. And late game Azir is no joke, guys. And Hetong is zoning away all of EDG.
He's doing an exceptional amount of damage, and they're just so tanky in the front line. You can see Bamey having to use that cleanse to get out of the Sejuani ultimate, still sitting on top of the Equalizer the entire time. And they're in a bad position now, though, from the looks of it.
Yeah, Amazing J, of course. There's the flank from Clearlove. Wants to find the knock-up. Emperor's Divide going to get Amazing J out of there as he flashes. There's the Gnar ultimate into the wall. Dandy going to be the first to fall, but a double kill for Hetong. Deft gets headbutted under the Sun turret, and he's going to die from that one alone. Quadra kill for Hetong as he tears apart EDG. Pentakill for the Azir. And we were talking about it. Vici Gaming, if they were going to win, it was going to be off this Azir.
Hetong just goes massive and picks up a pentakill seemingly out of thin air. The team fight looks so good. The initiation from Clearlove behind them, and they just never touched Hetong.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to go so well, and then suddenly this guy who's got his Deathcap Morello Stinger, Void Staff, all of these aggressive offensive items completely left unattended, scales so well. We just saw how much damage he does there. Picks up a pentakill at 37 minutes, and this game's just been turned on its head.
Yeah, that's a max items Azir. He just built
a whole Luden's Echo.
Yeah, Luden's Echo out of nowhere. And look as well at Marta. He plays this so beautifully onto Deft. Look over this wall, and then Deft, no. Back you go.
That's so clever. And just look at the way that this whole fight happened. And Hetong only at the very end pulling the trigger and going in there. The Sun turret picking up the kill on the Cogmore, securing the triple prior to the rest of it, and a successful penta.
Yeah, beautifully played as We're going to see Clearlove in a little bit of trouble around here, but he is going to be A-OK.
Oh, so it seems that while we were playing the replay, we missed another fight. So we're going to have a look at this one as it happens. Oh, no, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. We're all good.
Sorry, just transitioned.
It's very strange. I understand. I understand. Red buff is going to be stolen away here, though, but Def doing a whole bunch of damage to carry. He may even have to Zhonya's as the equalizer does come out, I believe. At least one rocket. The equalizer is going to come out there as Deft is going to be completely out of mana. This might actually be a poor decision for EDG, but in the end, not going to be anything to come from it.
Yeah, it seems like the rocket retracted itself back into thin air, and they decided to start the Baron.
Yeah, BF Sword is now there for Deft as well, but it is going to the Snake Lady, locking down the Baron, and that Baron did not last very long at all. EDG now with a 10,000 gold lead still, despite the fact that Hatong got a Penta, and massively to Hatong's credit is he got that pentakill when his score was 2-3-1. There was nothing to be writing home about this is here. But now 7-3-1.
Yeah, exactly. The score has changed. The inhibitors are available. The Dragon's the next plan of attack. And you can see based off the vision control. We've been talking about how much vision Edward Gaming has had since the start of this game where it felt like they were taking command. And it's completely changed.
Yeah, well, I guess they've got a lot more vision on the top side of the map, but Vici have managed to claw their way back through. They've got at least a few wards on the map. Bamey now hanging around here in the mid lane. And I mean, he himself has a whole bunch of items. Almost 6 for the Cassiopeia, almost with the Luden's Echo of his own. Unless that's going to be the Spooky Ghosts or the Lichbane, not entirely sure. Of course, you can build that item into a few things, but I don't think so. I think it will probably be the Aether Wisp into the Luden's Echo.
Yeah, we'll go with an educated assumption that it's going to be the Luden's Echo. And
I do like Spooky Ghost, though.
Yeah, it's to each their own, I suppose. I would go for the better item, of course.
What do you mean, better item? You're crazy. Spawning little ghosts that chase people? You can freak people out. They may just leave their computer.
Call me crazy, but I prefer damage as a Cassiopeia to the
I prefer the mind games.
Yeah.
The mind games, Rusty. That's what I'm about. Hasn't often worked, but if it ever does, I'm going to be very excited about it. Clearlove, of course, with the full tank Rek'Sai build. We've spoken about a whole lot of different ways to build it. MLXG with the Warrior and Chan able to find themselves a victory, but the full tank Rek'Sai with the Locket of the Iron Solari, the Spirit Visage as well as that Cinder Hulk, and now with the first armor item to come in. But man, I want to see Hatong try and do some damage now in the next team fight, because Luden's Echo Azir is ridiculous.
Well, that's what I was about to touch on as well. They did just get the second turret, and that means there's 2 bear inhibitors.
Did you see? That was 1,000 damage with 1 auto attack there from Def. This late game Cogmore is definitely becoming a thing. He's got the Alacrity enchantment on his boots as well. Pretty nimble is the little Cogmore. And Vici Gaming, they need to make a move. They need to do something to stop EDG from having their way with the base.
It's going to be very difficult for them to do so because most of the team fight damage is going to come down to how they can work around Hatong now. And I'm assuming the rest of Edward Gaming are very aware of this fact, and they're going to be jumping straight onto him. So it's going to be on the back of Hatong. We'll see what he can do in this team fight, but having pretty much all of his team's kills, all of his team's money, he's going to have to come up massive.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. And of course, he hasn't gone for his Zhonya's at the same time, so not a whole lot of defensive options. He's got a cleanse. That's not going to keep him untargetable for 2 seconds. And Amazing J is being annoying yet again. Here now in the mid lane, able to move over to the open inhibitor in the bottom side of the map. And no one on Vici able to respond, because as soon as they send someone down there, they lose their top inhibitor turret. And this is sort of a whole lot of bad decisions and nothing good available to Vici Gaming.
Yeah, they're being slow bled out. It is a very smart decision here from EDG. They already took the first inhibitor. No one can contest Amazing J at the moment. Rumble doesn't have enough items, and they require all 5 members to teamfight. EDG do not necessarily need all 5 members to teamfight. They're comfortable split pushing and doing what they're doing now, and it's starving out the side of Vici Gaming and not really giving them an opportunity to engage.
Yeah, and I love watching EDG play with this different top laner in Amazing J. We've been watching Amazing J throughout the entire first split here of the LPL in the spring split, but Amazing J just plays differently to Koro. You know, he's a frustrating player. He loves to split push. He loves to do weird things, and his Gnar play is fantastic, but he plays it differently to Koro. Of course, Koro's Gnar is a thing to behold. It's absolutely wonderful, but they just play it differently, and it's just interesting seeing EDG now with Amazing J slotting into the roster, and it looks actually quite fine.
It does look perfectly fine, and the funny thing about frustrating players to play against is whether you're a pro player or not, it is very possible for you to get tilted by this annoying play. The fact that he's constantly split pushing and in their faces annoying them, they start to get a little bit antsy and they need to find a moment, but they're getting frustrated at the same time. When's that moment available?
Yeah.
I think mistakes can happen then.
Well, it's true, and I mean, of course, Vici Gaming, there was nothing they could do. They lost an inhibitor for free because EDG were just posturing in the top side. They managed to get the turret. They didn't get the third inhib, but they managed to get the inhibitor in the bottom lane. They split up Vici completely, and Vici now looking to try and start something. Beautiful black shield from Mako. Going to save his life there as, of course, Carry. He's going to get caught by the Dark Binding. Deft so much damage with each auto attack. My God, that was so close. Living Artillery, Scrap Shield, having to use the flash after that one came out. Beautiful equalizer, though, as Mata trying to get position here. Clearlove burning to death as Amazing J trying to get enough of his Nava up. Look at Atong. Brilliant Empress Divide. Mako, he's going to fall down as well as Atong just walks casually through his wall, but Baimy's still alive, and Amazing J wants to find the Sandman if he can. Trying to get in there, trying to chase after Azir, and now back into mini Gnar form. This is where Amazing J does his work and picks up the kill. EDG, they're going to be able to finish off the game, but Vici, what a brilliant performance, and massive shout out to Hertong.
To the last man standing, Hertong.
Oh, yeah.
So much work hitting that end game stage, and definitely was a big carry for draft possibilities by a fair amount.
Yeah, and as soon as Pawn hits the lineup, it is going to be the LeBlanc band straight away. Vici do not want to allow him on that champion. Of course, Pawn is just ridiculous in the laning phase, and moving around the map and creating plays is what he's all about. It's just incredible to see. Of course, Rek'Sai going to be banned away here. Dandy not going to be able to first pick that one. And of course, Clearlove did pick up a whole lot of his victories over at MSI. Of course, the most recent time that we saw EDG before their first game here at the LPL is on that Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai a massive pick here for this team.
Yeah, you need to get that away as soon as possible. Dandy's played the most games out of every other jungler on that Rek'Sai, so take it off the tables as soon as possible. It doesn't narrow his champ pool by any means. He's very similar to what you would call Pawn as mid laners as Dandy did the jungle.
Yeah.
But he's getting rid of the strongest champion, much like the LeBlanc ban here, away from Pawn.
Yeah, and also Jinx is going to hit the bench. Def not going to be able to play that champion. We'll see whether the Sivir is going to be respond banded here. Banded? Respond banned.
Response banned.
Response banned, I think is what I meant to say. Yeah, you're exactly right. It was like, I knew something went wrong, but apparently both things went wrong. Is Sivir going to be banned is my question for EDG, whether they're going to take that away from Endless, because he has had relative success on that champion. Azir, though, is what it's going to be. Hatong not going to see that champ, and Vici, they have an opportunity to first pick the Sivir if they want to, but Gragas is also there. There's a lot of high priority picks. Cassiopeia now available with Azir off the table.
And Sivir, definitely worth mentioning, has been banned in the first game and has an amazing win-to-loss ratio in the LPL. That was
Amazing J did not waste any time.
No hesitation whatsoever. Taking it away from Carry as well as picking it up for himself with literally zero hesitation.
Yeah, and Amazing J and Insec, I believe, were the sort of first people to start playing the Hecarim again, both in the top lane and in the jungle. But Amazing J has done wonderful things on that champion throughout the LPL. Of course, very, very early on was always tended to be banned away. Of course, has moved over to Smite Teleport as opposed to the Ignite Teleport that Amazing J was sort of known for. But Clearlove is going to lock away Mako's Thresh and leave everything open. Of course, you pick a Hecarim and a Thresh, you can still play almost any comp. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. It doesn't reveal anything that you're looking to play just yet. And the Sivir being picked, very good, versatile, all-around AD carry, provides a lot for team fighting, does a lot of damage, and with the Azir banned and the Cassiopeia available, I definitely like this decision.
Yeah, I like it too, but I'm actually interested as to why Clearlove didn't lock away the Gragas. Now seeing the fact that Dandy has locked that in very, very quickly. Hatong is going to pick up the Gnar here for carry. Of course, didn't have to lock that one away. Of course, Amazing J almost definitely is going to be playing that champion there in the top lane. But look, already this engage comp is looking fantastic coming through from Vici, and they can disengage with the explosive cask if they want to.
Yeah, they've got the Sivir ultimate to disengage also if need be, and even the scoop from the Gnar. They've got a lot potentially, and may not be directly, but they are able to disengage quite well as we're getting an Eve Hover.
Yeah, the Eve Hover is there, of course, Clearlove's favorite champion, or at least one of his historically most played, and no surprises, he is going to lock that one in. And Deft going over to his comfort pick as well. Of course, Deft's Corki, an absolutely pivotal part of his champion roster, and man, so much comfort here. And if you're looking at EDG and thinking about what Pawn's going to play there in the mid lane, and I'm thinking maybe, you know, Twisted Fate, the likes of Fizz, something like that here for Pawn if he wants to play that, and we'll see what he does bring to the mid lane. Of course, Talon, it might be the time. Maybe it's his game. I don't know. But
I would not really say the Talon is worthwhile in this game. If we have a look at the side of EDG.
Oh, I never said it was a good idea.
It's just an idea. Yeah, true. I don't think they're playing for fun at this stage, though. Let's go with having a look at their team comp right now, and what they're actually missing and what they need is maybe even a bit of crowd control. They've got the Evelynn jungle. Thresh, the AD carry's got the hook, and then they've got the Hecarim ultimate. But aside from that, there's no real hard, dedicated engage or crowd control spell. So with this mid lane pick, you might want to even go for the Twisted Fate, as you mentioned first. Something that's just reliable and able to be used well and often.
Yeah, and of course, if you are going to play something like that, as he hovers the Katarina, I can't believe I didn't mention Katarina when you're talking about Pawn, of course. Even playing that last year at Worlds, the Varus still an option. That's true. Chains of Corruption, most definitely a thing. Mako, only 1 second to go. Looks like the Varus might indeed be the option here. And of course, you can create a lot of distance between you and the Cassiopeia with the fact that that piercing arrow is super long range. And look, we're going to have it again. Pawn's Varus mid.
Yeah, and while I said it was reliable CC, it's also the most often misspelled statistically.
Yeah, I was going to say reliable, probably not the term that you'd associate with Chains of Corruption, but
immediate regret as mentioning that. But the Varus is locked in. The team comps are complete here from both sides, and it's a very interesting...
Okay, Clearlove moving out onto the Rift as EDG are taking on Vici Gaming for the final game of the night. We do have a pause. It would not be the LPL without a little bit of a pause, but EDG looking to make this another 2-0 victory, and they've got a lot of comfort here. Of course, Mako's Thresh is fantastic, but I mean, you're looking at Clearlove here on Evelynn, his classic comfort pick. Deft's Corki, of course, is just almost synonymous with Deft. You almost say Deft when people are picking Corki.
Yeah.
And things like this. Of course, Pawn is on an unorthodox champion in the mid lane. That seems to be his comfort pick. And Amazing J's playing Hecarim. There's so much comfort on this lineup.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of comfort, and I guess it's weird to say that the Varus mid is a comfort pick, but it's certainly the second time in 4 games.
That's true.
I think
almost the most consistent.
No, in 2 games for him, isn't it? Both times that he's played, it has been the Varus mid.
Oh, really? Of course. Oh, well, of course. Yeah, because Bamey played the other games.
Yeah, so it couldn't be more of a comfort pick, evidently.
No. In fact, if we're looking at only this split of the LPL, there is no other choice if you're looking at comfort picks for Pawn in the mid lane.
And a 100% win rate on top of that.
Yeah, well, 100% play rate, 100% win rate. No worries. My goodness, of course. There is Deft looking very excited about getting into this Vici game. Of course, we haven't had very much time yet. There's not a whole lot to talk about as far as how this game is going to unfold. But Vici looking to try and turn this one around. And we've spoken about EDG at length, but with the Gnar, with the Gragas, and of course Cassiopeia plus the Sivir, the On the Hunt is going to be used to great effect because you're going to be able to get your Nautilus in amongst it. You're going to be able to get the Gnar in amongst it, really start these fights out. And do you think this is what Vici want to be doing? They want to be sort of hard engaging after the level 6 is hit?
Definitely. Vici seem to be the kind of side that love to just straight away hard engage and go in and commit all at once. They are an all or nothing style team, and they either win together or they lose together. So this
Bad
team
boys for life.
Yes, bad boys for life. It suits them perfectly. They're going to be able to use that on the hunt. They've got a lot of things to follow it up. The Gragas, the Nautilus, everything just in the face of EDG. Their team comp is very synergetic when it comes to fighting like that. And it's going to be very, very easy, and they're quite capable of doing so.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can get that one to work. And of course, you do have to change your mindset. They're up against Clearlove on the Evelynn at this point. And with a comp like this, is it difficult to deal with an Evelynn, or is it sort of going to work out? Because we haven't seen too much. I guess we've seen sort of Evelynn and Cacao running around on the Evelynn a little bit just recently. But is it going to be difficult for them to move into that style of play with this comp?
it's not going to be difficult for them per se, but they do have to adjust the way that they're playing completely. Every time that you play against an Eve, it's a very unique style, and we've seen a lot of pink wards that have to come out early to adjust to having the Eve there. You need to rethink your strategies and rethink where you're placing wards, for example, or invade times, or where you need to be as the opposition jungler. Like, Gragas is going to be safe and healthy, but he needs to be where Eve's going to be able to win a counter gank and make her hurt early when she's weak.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether it does come through as Deft and Mako looking to try and face check this one in. They do put a ward down. Endless just going to put a ward of his own, but Pawn is here to help out clearing that one. And EDG setting up camp. But it is going to be just a defensive fan here for Vici Gaming, and they did get some vision. They know it's only a few members there, although I guess they have no idea where Clearlove is, so it could have been 4 people.
Yeah, for all they knew, it could have been basically everyone from EDG. And a small moral victory there going to Pawn, having that first little bit of gold advantage with the 1 CS. And
yeah, first CS. No
also a bit of vision denial. So you can see instantly Siva could not hang around that spot anymore. The rest of EDG were comfortable even sitting in the tri-bush for a few seconds, and they've actually grouped up as 5 and looking to invade.
Yeah, looking to invade, potentially even into a lane swap here as well as Pawn. He's going to move around, possibly get a piercing light over, but Clearlove probably just going to move straight towards that red buff. And Vici Gaming, they're not allowing Clearlove to do anything this game.
No, straight away, going into the red buff, even warding the Krugs away from Hecarim if he chose to start those. Too much pressure on the map. And they're gonna enact the lane swap. Vici Gaming are now in the top lane. They're AD carry and support duo. You can see the response right now is Eve hasn't gone to her blue buff. Eve has gone to the opposition red buff. She's in Vici's jungle. She's going to take that away with the Thresh to help.
Yeah, and Amazing J actually going to utilize his smite to take away some wolves here as well. So not even in a lane just yet. Of course, the double jungle now moving towards the top side of the map. Amazing J does have to be careful because if he teleports into the top lane, he's going to die.
Yeah, and he needs to be aware of that fact and smartly not teleporting just yet. And based off knowing that they started at the red buff, you wouldn't want to teleport there whatsoever because that is a death trap waiting to happen.
Most definitely not. Clearlove and Amazing J are going to find one another. They have cleared out a whole bunch of the enemy jungle here as well, heading over to their blue buff at this stage as Pawn just shooting off long-range spells at Hatong, and Hatong just getting a little bit annoyed at it. Doesn't quite manage to find the poison there, but this is about how this lane is going to go. It's going to be Hatong trying to get into the face of Pawn, and Pawn just shooting him.
Well, as we mentioned in the last matchup, the Azir Cassiopeia, this tends to run in a very similar style. You need to respect Cassiopeia's early game, and you can see how aggressively she's positioning in the face of Pawn to really show him that you need to respect this Cassiopeia, or there is the threat of dying.
Yeah, Pawn's been using a lot of his mana on those piercing lights to try and get harass damage off. He's got a huge stack of minions now heading towards this turret. Hatong doing a decent job keeping up in the farm here as well. Of course, Pawn, he's able to kill a few underneath the turret, but Hatong playing this one out very, very well. Hatong definitely had his Wheaties this morning. He's playing well.
Yeah, he's showing what it takes to be in the LPL right now. Vici Gaming didn't have the greatest showing in the first 2. They did come up 1-1, but right now, even though they've gone down in game 1 to Edward Gaming, they look exceptional coming into late game and teamfight stages. Their team comp is perfectly suited to that and the way that they're going to play. So far, they're looking okay.
Yeah, and we'll see whether they can carry that through. Of course, EDG don't necessarily have a whole lot of synergy as far as the team comp is concerned, as Clearlove is able to get some vision in there as the ward doesn't quite spot out Amazing J, I don't think. Marta is going to discover Mako as Carry comes around as well. The Dragon was started. Hyperprocs now aplenty as the play comes back. There's the Descend's Deft. Comes through and massive amounts of damage. There's EDG. They give first blood over to Clearlove, and they're going to transition into a Dragon as well.
And you have to love how the inability to actually spot the Eve placing the ward deep in the Wraith jungle near that bush has allowed them to walk all the way through the river unnoticed and catch someone out of position. Marta, unfortunately, hooking the wall instead of his target, and instantly the rotation, everyone comes there, and Pawn's taken a bit of damage from Dandy, apparently.
Yeah, Pawn able to answer back in kind, though. You can see there's the piercing light, the piercing arrow, sorry, the last possible one that he's going to be throwing out, just because he doesn't have a whole lot of mana, able to chug through some of these flasks for maybe an extra one. You can see Pawn has pressured Hatong effectively out of this lane. Has sacrificed a few bits of CS for it, and Clearlove he secured the early dragon. Oh, cute. Steals away 3 of the little popcorn chickens.
Getting a little bit of extra CS there for himself. They do give quite a bit of gold now, 10 gold per chicken, I believe, which is fantastic, an improvement of what they used to be. And Pawn, he's level 5 now. He's in a very good position. The piercing arrows start to do a lot more damage, and the Varus starts to ramp up the later that this game goes, the higher the level that he gets. And Cassiopeia, having not been able to pressure him out, the CS remaining very similar, is a very good sign so far for Pawn.
Yeah, and since Xerath sort of fell out, I mean, a lot of what I see Varus as being is sort of another massive range siege unit. You don't necessarily have Arcano Pulse, but that piercing arrow does some work. Deft is going to get caught out by Marta here as the Riptide is going to come through. The Ignite is ticking down, but they only got the heal for it as Carry didn't quite have the follow-up damage.
No, they're not going to be able to secure the kill, but level 2 Marta will take a lot of damage from the turret and the hooks if they consistently hit right now.
Yeah, Deft not quite able to get too far in front of it. As nice little juggling of the turret aggro in order to steal away all of that farm. 52 to 46 as far as the AD carries are concerned. Carry moving towards the blue buff here of EDG as Pawn heads back into lane. Does have just a tier and of course a pink ward there as well. Plus a longsword, so probably going towards that brutalizer, then into the Manamune. Sort of the general cooldown reduction plus armor penetration build that a lot of these Varus players have been going for.
Yeah, exactly. You want the cooldown reduction. May even want to go for the mana regen once you finish that tier as soon as possible. Have a bigger mana pool.
Are you saying Essence Reaver?
I might be saying Essence Reaver.
Oh my goodness.
It is a very good Varus item, and it complements what he's looking to achieve as a mid-Varus to
You're
a
now
T.
officially my favorite co-caster. Because you've just said that Essence Reaver is a good idea. Of course, if anyone understands the history between Atlas and Essence Reaver, you'll understand what we're talking about, but I'm not going to explain it because it actually hurts people's feelings. Hatong is going to take another piercing arrow here in the mid lane as the hail comes down as well. And Deft is going to be clearing out these minions. And how does the build path go as far as skill order for a mid Varus? Is it sort of max Q, then max your W, the Blooded Quiver?
You would ideally max Q, and from there, as he's actually using his ultimate that gets cleansed out, you would choose to max the Q, and then it's up to personal opinion, I suppose. You do like maxing the E. It does base damage, and you can keep at least level 1 of the W there. Do a bit of extra damage with each hit. You don't necessarily need to upgrade it first, though it does come down to a bit of personal preference. The important part is that you max your piercing arrow.
Yeah, the piercing arrow doing so much of the work as Hatong able to get a bit of a slow tick down there with the miasma, and Pawn takes a couple of Twin Fangs. Oh, that's actually the flash forward there, but Pawn turning around just at the right time. The Twin Fangs managed to cause enough pressure to cause Pawn to flash away, but somehow Pawn predicted the flash ultimate from Hatong.
It was completely mind games right there. Hatong thinking that Pawn was going to push up too far just to be in his face and zone him away from the minions, and instantly using the flash petrifying gaze, but Pawn smartly backing up at the right time, knowing he was in a bad position.
Oh, body slam. Not going to find Pawn here as well as Hatong looks for the miasma. Dandy puts him in a bad position. Hatong almost falls down there as now Amazing J looking to clippity-clop his way in. There's the Onslaught of Shadows, the drive-by kill onto the mid laner, and then he's going to head back top.
An amazing turnaround there, making a trade out of it. It took a very long time to get Pawn down, and it was enough time for the Hecarim to use that teleport, get within range of the ultimate, and again, make it a very good trade out of nowhere.
Yeah, Amazing J sort of just, it's the classic drive-by maneuver, I believe. 28 CS to 44 though, so Amazing J having the rough end of the stick when it comes to picking up the farm. But now that he's got some time in the mid, able to even that one out just a little bit.
And speaking of picking up the farm, Endless managing to have about a 10 CS advantage, starting to close a little bit after picking up those minions, but Sivir ahead right now in last hits.
Yeah, and Deft only sitting on the Phage here, so not going for the aggressive choice of the Sheen for the trade damage. Just wanted to make sure that he's got as much health and maneuverability as possible. Pawn able to pick up a blue buff, of course. Varus, one of the most mana-hungry champions in the game. Thank goodness he has a tier there just in order to keep his mana pool up as high as possible.
And his item timing is actually really good. You can see Clearlove stalking around. I love being able to do that as a jungler. Doesn't matter what your pathing is because no one's going to spot you. And back onto Pawn, he's got the Brutalizer, he's got the tier, and most importantly, he got the blue buff with the tier, which is ideal timing because it'll stack so much quicker now, and he's going to be able to finish that Manamune a lot quicker and do ridiculous amounts of damage a lot sooner.
Yeah, and we'll see whether he can get to that Muramana enchant as quickly as possible. Of course, the transform, very important as far as maximizing your damage potential. Piercing Arrow, a little bit optimistic there from Pawn at that stage, and Clearlove just passing through. Haven't actually seen too much from the Evelynn after that first blood did come down. Warrior enchant has been completed with the boots alongside it here for Clearlove. Just wanders casually past the ward as Mako makes his way back towards the lane. Pink ward. Oh, that is very, very cute.
That is great.
Yeah, Mako going to clear that one out. Of course, Clearlove was unseen. Piercing Arrow is going to not find Hatong this time. Pawn has been pretty good as far as hitting those, but not going to find it that one. And 93 CS to 102 there in the bottom lane. You're right, about a 10 CS lead as Pawn, Deft, sorry, did make it back into the lane. Does have a Sheen now as well. So the two most important components of the Trinity Force now completed for Deft.
Started up the Dragon, but opting to back out as well. Smartly backing out, that the rotations were there, and this mind game in the middle lane, it's going to work out in favor of Pawn pretty much consistently from here on out. You compared it to a Xerath earlier.
Yep.
It is essentially a Xerath. When the Q starts charging, you need to dodge it because it starts to have too big of an impact, and it's the big mental play in your head of which ways you're going to throw it. And you start to find yourself in very awkward positions, and you spend too much time dodging, not enough time trading back, and the lane starts to tilt in favor of the Varus from here on out.
Yeah, and you also can't concentrate on picking up the last hits as well, as Carry has to bounce over that wall. Amazing J just securing the Scuttle Crab.
We've spoken a lot about the mid lane at the moment, but the top lane seems to be going very well for this Gnar. Opting towards the armor boots first, and then double health crystal with the Doran's Blade. Consistently a decent amount of CS ahead as they're going in on him.
Yeah, there's the ultimate from Amazing J. Wants to use the E in order to get them back out of under the turret, but Carry is going to survive this one. Nice use of the poison there from Hatong. Gets a couple of Twin Fangs. As the ult is still available here for this Cassiopeia, and that is going to mean that Pawn has to be on his toes as far as being able to turn around effectively enough.
Yeah,
but
and the
nothing
cleanse,
can come of it yet.
The cleanse available too for the Cassiopeia, which is definitely something you need to point out in the 1v1 matchup. We've seen it before in this lane, and every time that the Varus is going to use his ultimate, it's going to be cleansed instantly, and Cassiopeia can stay on your back.
Yeah, Tong now going to continue to poison these minions here in the mid lane. Piercing Arrow is going to clear out the rest of them for Pawn, as Twin Fang is going to be used for Hatong just to secure these minions. So bottom lane, Vici Gaming able to shove out this wave, and that is definitely the positive part about having a Sivir in your lineup, is the fact that you can just shove minion waves so quickly. This is what seems to be what we've been talking about mostly today, has been Sivir's ability to clear out a minion wave, but it's just so imperative in her kit as far as making her such a high priority pick at the moment.
Yeah, and I guess that can be accredited due to the amount of Sivers that we have actually had to witness in this game. And
yeah,
only recently
had the pleasure of witnessing.
Had the pleasure of witnessing, of course, not having to bear it or anything. It was great.
Tolerated some Sivers.
Well, there's just been so much Sivir that there's been no real priority in the pick and ban phase around this Sivir. And only the last game did we actually see a ban come out, the first one in the LPL Summer so far. And
yeah,
even the win rate she has, I'm surprised it hasn't been more.
Yeah, Vici really having their brains connected effectively. As you can see, EDG have lost their gold advantage here at this stage of the game. I believe Pawn probably going to go pick up his Manamune now. And at what point does this EDG team comp scale up? I mean, we understand the fact that Vici Gaming probably want to pick up a few items, and then they're happy to fight around that mid-game, wait for Carry to get a bit tanky-dandy as well, but then they're ready to go. How about EDG?
EDG is going to be, for the most part, working around the items that the Corki finishes. He's the only one in the team, besides the Hecarim, who has the big spikes. So he gets that Trinity Force, he spikes massively. He gets the Sork Shoes with that directly after. It's a mini spike again. And at these situations, at these times, you can fight quite well as EDG. They've got the Eve with the Sheen at the moment, so nothing massive. Warrior Sheen, I guess it'll be another Trinity Force spike as well. So they're opting into these big spike timings.
Yeah.
And at 15 minutes into the game, they're not really going to be in a position where they want to fight. Edward Gaming are going to get... I mean, at the moment, they've got a Hecarim, Eve, and Corki. The Varus will be going for a last Whisper most likely afterwards. They've all got these big timings, and I said they don't spike. I take that back because they're all going to be getting Trinity Forces.
Yeah, they're going to try and get the Trinity Forces at relatively similar times, as Mako's going to notice that Vici are starting off this Dragon. Of course, I say starting, it's down to about 1,100 health as Carry finds his way into this fight. Deft is very, very healthy. Chains of Corruption find Martyr here as well as Piercing Light. Piercing Arrow, sorry, trying to do some work. Nice Gnar into the wall. Amazing J goes down very quickly. Clearlove right in amongst this fight. Double kill with the Piercing Arrow, though. Hail to come in at the same time, and Endless, he's in trouble. Pawn just flashes forward. Deft picks up the kill in the end. A triple kill for this Varus coming from the mid lane, and Mako took down Carry. Beautiful fight from EDG.
You have to question the teleport positioning right there from Carry. Straight in the face of the AD carry and support you of EDG and Mako and Death's face, and he just had to jump straight out. The Chains of Corruption came in, hitting the support, but then bouncing to every single member of Vici Gaming's lineup. And that put them all in a bad position. Without the jump available that he just used in carry, it's really difficult for you to hit that Gnar. And after that, the rest of it just started to crumble. The Chains of Corruption was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, wonderful stuff from Pawn, making sure that he got everything down that he needed to. The double kill with the Piercing Arrow as well, now that that's leveled up. And let's have a look at it again.
So you can see the Gnar only able to hit one person. They're already so low because by this stage, they'd been completely chunked out by the Varus and the Corki. Eve got a great ultimate off to start the fight. And from here on out, it was massively on cleanup duty for them.
Yeah, and Pawn, you saw flashing forward for the triple kill. So 3, 1, and 2 now for this Varus. And hasn't even been back to base just yet, so more than happy just to sit on these couple of items, scale up that Manamune as best they can. Vici Gaming now understanding the fact that Clearlove has to show himself at some point, but Clearlove is going to notice the fact that he was discovered by that ward, or just not even scared about it.
Doesn't even feel the need to clear the ward, I guess.
No. I guess that's confidence for you, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000 gold, though, is the lead here for EDG. Vici did take the Dragon. That is the big deal. So Dragons have been equalized as Pawn going to head through and try and clear out this minion wave, but Mata and Hatong going to try and deter him from doing too much to this one. Doesn't quite get to the back line with that Piercing Arrow, and Vici just, I guess, brute forcing the mid lane.
Yeah, it's the best way to describe it. Pushing Varus out of the range to use his Piercing Arrow to clear any minions. They're going to get this mid turret. It's going to allow them a lot of freedom in rotations, and it seems to me as though they're opting towards the top lane next in their rotations.
Yeah, seems like the Martyr train has begun. As Amazing J looking to actually get aggressive onto carry. May have chose a pretty poor timing for this one as Martyr's going to come around. Nice dredge line and the Gnar back into the wall. The Onslaught of Shadows, sorry, not that unstoppable here as the Boomerang just going to head back and net Endless another kill. The outer turret going to fall in the top lane as well.
The Hecarimot actually getting stopped in his tracks right there, directly in the middle of them. He just chose a very unfortunate time to be aggressive.
Yeah.
He spent a little bit of time away from the lane, put a ward down and made sure that he at least thought he was safe. They came from a very deep position in the jungle. They came around behind him when he wasn't ready for it, didn't have all of his spells available, and that was a very smart rotation there.
Yeah, a bit of a silly time to start a fight here as well, but EDG, they are going to rip through the jungle of Vici Gaming after taking down the outer turret in the mid lane at the same time. So EDG picked up a couple of turrets there as well after Vici was moving around themselves. So as you can see, the gold lead's still in EDG's favor just by a little bit, and Pawn just head back and picked up some boots and, of course, a Last Whisper outright.
Yeah, so he's got that Last Whisper. Corki 005 has the Trinity Force available now as well. Once they get that...
Oh, Amazing J.
Oh, he's in a bad position yet. Oh, never mind.
Yep, thank you very much, Standy. As Amazing J is going to just canter away from this one as the Death Sentence not quite available.
No, very unlucky again, I suppose. It was a smart rotation. They're not stopping just yet. They're looking to go towards the blue buff.
Yeah, looking to try and secure that one as Amazing J was able to maneuver out of the way.
Opting to just recall, and they're going to look to continue to siege in the mid lane. Pawn just going to be a pest, and you can see how much damage it's starting to do now. He's got that Last Whisper and a lot of armor penetration. There's no point even having armor runes at this stage. You basically just want health.
Yeah, that's true. He's going to be ripping these Vici Gaming members apart. And now with the, I guess, armor penetration build, do you think about maybe picking up the Black Cleaver on Varus?
I don't think it's necessarily worth it. What you can do, though, which is a good idea, is instead of even going for the Trinity Force on the Hecarim, you could forego that and go for the Black Cleaver.
Yeah,
That's
potentially.
a smart team decision. It's not going to give you the kill pressure as much as you would normally have. It'll still give you kill pressure. It'll still give you move speed, so it's not a bad choice for Hecarim. And then it also allows the Varus and the Corki with extra armor reduction on the person that the Hecarim's hitting. They'll do more damage.
Clearlove as well has finished his Trinity Force.
It's just going to be a lot of Trinity Forces.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're looking to spike in the mid-game Atlas.
I think that spiking in the mid game is a thing. I think Clearlove is also just having fun. He's decided, I don't know. I like it, but of course, the tanky items after the Warrior Enchant do tend to be the standard choice for Clearlove. But oh, the depth charge here as Pawn's going to flash out of the way. Nice change to the corruption. Is it going to be enough to stop Hatong though, as he just gets the slow, but that was all he needs, and everything blown. And that is most definitely a dead mid laner as Amazing J trying to come through for the flank. Marta, he's going to get destroyed as the Death Sentence comes in, and Deft, he's turned on that Gatling gun, but Vici able to get a nice position around here. That big one did a bunch of damage as Deft is trying to poke them from afar, but EDG, they do get the position and stop Vici from crashing in on their turrets.
Not a whole lot of ultimates available for either sides here. So much used to get Pawn down, and they used the Petrifying Gaze just for a slow to allow the body slam to hit. It was definitely an all-or-nothing situation to get that Varus, and they did get him. They've got control now a little bit of the area, but given that nobody really has ultimates available, it still could go either way in the next fight very soon.
Yeah, and Pawn, as you mentioned, Varus is heading towards this dragon now at this stage. Vici looking to try and clear out the vision. 5 to 7 in kills, 1,000 gold still the difference here. As EDG are ahead by just a little bit. Amazing J trying to find his way back in, but Vici, they are going to secure the dragon, but is it going to be a repeat of last time, or EDG going to be able to find their way into a fight? Amazing J, he is here, but no ultimate available at this point. Death Sentence not going to find the mark, and looks like Vici are going to be able to escape this one, so they pick up the second dragon for themselves and make it out unscathed, and they got the pick in the mid lane.
Yeah, it all started from the pick in the mid lane. They get that first kill. They start to get control, at the very least, of a bit of the area. You can see all of the ward coverage is in favor of EDG, but it's just the confidence knowing that it's going to take a little while for the Varus to get back to the dragon area. They had the Mega Gnar perfectly timed, so EDG opting not to fight that situation too full on, and only looking to get the Varus to do some damage prior to the fight, allowed Vici Gaming to walk away essentially unscathed.
Yeah, it sounds pretty intelligent to me, wanting to fight around the Mega Gnar form, and of course EDG not wanting to at the same time. So that's what's going to come of it. Of course, Deft has now picked up the Blade of the Ruined King on his Corki. Wants to be able to eat through the health of these tanks as best he possibly can. Of course, didn't really like the item pickup, but as the Blade of the Ruined King has been changed just a little bit to be a little bit more on hit, kind of like it.
Yeah, it provides a different thing. Essentially, you choose between them. Am I going to be taking a lot of burst damage, or am I going to be dealing it and need the active health regen to come back, and are they going to be in my face? So he's opting towards the Blade of the Ruined King. Does more damage now, that is true. He's even got a pink ward. He's very confident, putting them all down, and they want to secure vision around this spike in items. They've got the Trinity Force done on 2 of the 3 champions. Hecarim, I'm guessing he has a lot of money and he's looking to spend that very soon after he gets this turret, because he has been sitting on that Glacial Shroud for quite a while.
Yeah, but still split pushing relentlessly. This is the Amazing J way, as Endless is in the bottom lane, is possibly going to be able to pick up this inner turret. In fact, he is. No one's in the area whatsoever. No teleport for Amazing J to speak of. And EDG, are they thinking about possibly just trading it for a Baron?
Well, we do know they like their 20-minute Barons, and this is pretty late by their standards, apparently. So it's a possibility, but they do have the means to at least be aware of it and stop it this time. They weren't as aware of it last time, so it was more of a surprise Baron. And being on the red side as well makes it a lot harder for you to sneak that Baron. When they're on blue side, you get more natural control of the Baron area. You can walk in with a single pink ward opposed to many.
Yeah, well, it's true. And I guess if you are on the blue side as well, you've got multiple entrances towards that Baron pit, so you're not going to get funneled here like the EDG lineup may potentially get, which would be a dream come true here for a Tong who's able to throw out that miasma now in the mid lane and just try and clear out these ones. But Deft, now with the Blade of the Ruined King in the boots, it's pretty safe. But what does a winning team fight look like here for EDG? Do they need the flanks? Do they need to have Amazing J and Clearlove coming in at the same time into the back line and get things going on? Because Hetong seems to be the linchpin for this team at the moment. And I think if his petrifying gaze is going to be useful, then it might even be that when Amazing J and Clearlove come through, if they just get instantly destroyed by that, there's not going to be a whole lot the squishy members of EDG can do.
Well, Clearlove and Amazing J have opted for different item builds almost completely here. Trinity Force on the Eve, she's going to be flanking 100%. There's no way to brute force your way in at them as an Eve right now if you only have the Trinity Force and Warrior enchantment.
Yep.
You don't really have tanky stats whatsoever, so you're going to be a little bit on cleanup duty. They're relying on Pawn and Def to poke. They're relying on the people that they're going to be fighting against to not have as much health as they would normally have to enable the Hecarim Unstoppable Onslaught and enable the Eve Ultimate to come through at the same time and catch them, I guess, a little bit off guard, but also in a position where they can't fight because Pawn's poke is massive.
Yeah, well, it's true. Now picked up a Brutalizer here as well, so going to be at 40% CDR, I believe. Oh no, he's only at about 25. We'll see what he's got as far as those runes are concerned. But also with the Distortion enchantment, so going to have that flash up as much as possible. Needs it for as many team fights as he can. Of course, Varus, notorious for not having too much mobility.
Wouldn't be surprised if after this Ghost Blade, which is what it seemingly will become right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for the Bloodthirster next. You're not really renowned for using all of the lifesteal that you get, but the Overshield will help against the Cassiopeia, who has a lot of burst right now, actually going for a Revolver.
Wow, okay, so Will of the Ancient's going to possibly be the next option here for Hetong, making sure that he can augment what spell vamp he already has. As Teleport's going to come through. Vici, they've started up the Baron. Everyone seems to know that Cassiopeia does a heck of a lot of damage. Agony's Embrace is going to be used. Oh, Clearlove went for the steal, but didn't get there. Flashed for it. Amazing J now says it's his turn to die as he gets melted apart. EDG, they do land the Chains of Corruption. Pawn looking to try and get something going on here as he's turning around, trying to get some DPS through, but
it's not over yet.
Yeah, Vici looking to try and get out of here. Deft, very aggressive with the two only members of EDG with any sort of tanky statistics. Chasing after them, but Vici just going to empowered recall back to base. 2 kills and a Baron. And they're now in the lead as far as the gold, and they're going to be able to pick up more from this. There's a massive wave in the top lane. They've got creeps that they need to pick up there on the bottom side, but Vici now able to siege.
Vici in a very good position at the moment, and I do question the Eve pick in this particular instance. They've gone for the Varus and the Corki combo, so they're looking for a lot of poke. They needed another big front line with Amazing J to be able to live, and Amazing J's gone straight for tank. He's foregone any damage items. He's gone straight for that Frozen Heart. The Spectre's Cowl, either a Spirit Visage or Banshee's coming out next. But the Eve has a Trinity Force.
Yeah.
And you're not really going to be able to tank anything with a Trinity Force, and you're required to tank for your team at the moment. So I do question whether the Eve pick, or whether the Eve build, more importantly, was the right decision. You can see that Vici are basically running across them. The second that the front line is dead from EDG, they have to sit back, poke, and try their best not to get caught.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I guess Clearlove was going for the hero steal and then just died on his own. It wasn't, I guess, the idyllic situation for an Evelyn. So we haven't really seen what a team fight on EDG's terms looks like, but I think you're exactly right. I think that Clearlove was a little bit greedy with that particular build. A lot of fun, and I definitely approve.
Oh, it's Trinity fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, brilliant one. Oh, Dredgeline not going to find Deft as he's trying to clear out these Baroned up minions. Amazing J, he's going to get right in amongst it though as Marta gets taken down. Very, very low. Pawn trying to charge up the snipes as Endless getting taken down. And oh my goodness, that was actually Mako that picked up that kill. Hetong now trying to get some of his health back. Pawn just getting smacked about by Carry. Dandy in trouble, but he's not, because they've turned around everything. Vici managed to ace EDG, and they're going to lose their bottom lane inhibitor turret as well. Vici Gaming looking brilliant.
This Revolver is a master stroke right here from Hetong. He gets engaged on, knocked towards the rest of the EDG side, and he just sustains it all back up. They've got the Baron minions, and there's 10 seconds on the next person. They may be able to end very soon.
They may potentially. They've decided that they're not going to push their luck this time around. They've picked themselves up a 3,000 gold lead. 3 dragons now to 1 as well in favor of Vici Gaming. Double the turrets of EDG. And EDG are most definitely on the ropes at this stage because you saw Pawn just sitting at the wrath of carry. There was nothing he could do to that Gnar. And Gnar's, he's pulled a page out of the EDG playbook, and he's building a Trinity Force as well.
He's definitely got the zeal, the makings of a Trinity Force. It just seems to be the Trinity Force League at the moment. Everyone just wants one on every champion. And you do have to give a lot of credit to Carry in that last fight, knocking Pawn out of the base and then stunning him outside of the base again in a bad position for so long. There was nothing he could do. He had to focus on himself and living. And by that time, the rest of the EDG lineup was already gone.
Yeah, nothing they could do. And Pawn now has a pickaxe in the item build. So possibly going towards that Infinity Edge, but maybe even the likes of a more of Malmortius, which I wouldn't mind here if he's going to be facing the Wrath of Hetong. But possibly an Infinity Edge. I like that. As a Talon player, he probably likes the 4th item, Infinity Edge. Mako is going to use his Flay, but he's going to get caught back into the team and dismantled. Man, Vici making short work of this one. As soon as Hetong can deal with a, CC'd up target, does not last very long. And Mako getting caught out of position once more. Def trying to throw some poke through, but Baron's worn off. Vici now going to try and use their numbers advantage in this top side. The inner turret is most definitely going to fall, but can they pick up another inhibitor?
Vici Gaming seem to be entirely in control at the moment. The one inhibitor down, they've got the top. They find a kill with Siva and Grag Assaults again. Their team comp is perfect around what they want to do, and that is get kills, make a pick, because they're up against a poke comp. All you need is one of them to be dead, and then you find it's so much easier to be able to siege or push, and Clearlove is just poking his head around at the moment. He might want to engage from behind.
He's looking for something potentially. Nice spell shield from Endless, but he doesn't have them as often as Pawn has the spell shields. He's getting corralled a little bit. Clearlove looking to try and pick up some form of engage, as the Raptors are going to be attempted here by Dandy. Hetong heading over, picks up the Raptor with some Miasma and some Noxious Blasts. Very nice there from Dandy, foregoing the extra 30 gold that he would have received in order to funnel it into Hetong. 6, 1, and 5 on this Cassiopeia. Massive items as well with that Void Staff and the Rabadon's Death Cap, as well as the Seraph's Embrace, which is completed. Heading back to base now, possibly to finish the Will of the Ancients. Maybe anything else as well. Luden's Echo, I don't know. What's he going to grab? Not entirely sure. We'll see what he decides to pick up, as that is Will of the Ancients. Boring. Would have loved to see a Luden's Echo.
Will of the Ancients and a Void Staff out of a Revolver and a Blasting Wand.
He already had the Void Staff.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my bad.
Yeah.
He's picked up the Will of the Ancients. It's going to help the Cassiopeia an awful lot. He's doing so much work at the moment. 6, 1, and 5. You have to praise Hetong. I cannot praise him enough right now. In the second game against EDG, getting a pentakill in the first game.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal amount of work towards allowing his team to, at the very least, be in it in the last game. And now they're ahead.
Yeah, and Pawn, he's now picked up the QSS, so it's definitely a good item. The pickaxe sort of sitting there doing nothing now, as Dandy just treating the EDG jungle like his own. This is the first time that we've seen EDG without control of the map for quite some time here in the LPL, but definitely doing a great job of Vici Gaming of really strangling EDG out of their options. 3,000 gold is still the lead here. It seems like Vici probably more than happy to sit back, wait for the next Baron, understand that they have the control of the map at the moment and move forward that way. Vici, have they decided they just want to go for a pick? I'm not entirely sure, as Clearlove is being sneaky.
They will most likely look towards this dragon. In fact, they have started up. They've got Cassiopeia, so it's done extremely quickly, and they can afford to, the second that EDG drops their guard. They've got the split pusher carry doing his best Amazing J impersonation right now, trying his hardest to push it into the base, and there's already one turret down in the Nexus, and EDG are in a very bad position to be able to defend that. If they recall, then the Baron's a possibility.
Yeah, and Carry has his teleport, but Amazing J doesn't. This is the big deal. So Carry now looking to try and teleport in. He is going to use it right now. The inhibitor has respawned, so Vici now with positional advantage around this Baron buff. Carry, he's found Pawn. Nice flash over the wall there to avoid any Gnars that are going to be coming in, but Mako is going to be forced to flash as well. Nice double piercing arrow damages Marta is going to try and clear out some vision. Vici still together as a unit, but they're getting chased by the arrow potential of Pawn as EDG trying to make their way around here. And EDG don't like it when you take away their Barons. Baron is their favorite thing in the world. And if you're taking Baron from them, they're going to be upset. The minions actually take down the inhibitor here. EDG going to have to make a move.
Yeah, EDG needed to do something a lot sooner there, but they couldn't do it because Vici Gaming were just backing off. I saw the pings going down onto that inhibitor quite a while earlier, and they now, I believe, know, at the very least, that Hecarim is in that base. They can decide to fight, they can decide to do Baron, they can rotate to Dragon. It's entirely in their hands. They've opted for the Baron, and watch how fast this Cassiopeia takes it down. Yeah,
Hetong is just ripping through this one. The piercing arrow is going to come through there. Nice damage from the poke of EDG.
Cass has no ult now.
Yeah, did she just use the... Yeah. I didn't see the Petrifying Gaze there at all. As Clearlove, he's going to tank this one up now. Nice change of corruption. Marta is tanking that one completely. Amazing J finds his way into the fight. Immediately destroys Hetong as EDG. They're still losing a whole lot of health here as Pawn. He's decimating the Vici Gaming lineup almost by himself there in the backline. Clearlove dies as an afterthought as a triple kill comes in for Carry. He's super low though as EDG. They're trying to clean up Deft. He's got a big amount of damage. He's trying to kill some Raptors now at this stage. So the Trixie Dandy is possibly going to survive, but that is a team fight victory here for EDG. But what was Endless doing? He's now taking a Dragon.
He's always got something to do. Hot fingers wanting to do as much as possible for his team. And though it was lost, he left the fight quite early, acknowledging that it was down, and straight away taking that Dragon, and Deft coming around throwing rockets, realizing that the Dragon's not there just yet. But that fight, it was a little bit awkward that Hetong accidentally used his ultimate backwards, not even on the Baron.
Oh my goodness.
He misclicked the ultimate. And that was almost the entire reason, I believe, as to why that fight ended up becoming in favor of EDG. It was 2 for 3, and they weren't necessarily on high health at the end of the fight either.
Vici now looking to just do the same thing again, sorry.
They've still got control because the bottom inhibitor's down. It's the ideal inhibitor to do a Baron as well because it's on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, Onslaught of Shadows is available here. Baron down to half health. EDG know that they cannot lose this one. Piercing Arrow, lots of damage onto Hetong, a massively high priority target. And now across the members of the team. And Deft and Pawn, they've got so much poke available to them that
Look at the
Gaming,
top blue dots.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. The fact that the minion wave control is in such favor of Vici Gaming means that they now just move forward and they just probably take down the Nexus, which is now almost entirely exposed.
The minions just took down the turret by themselves. The top blue dots are getting that top turret. It may go down without Hecarim being able to stop it. It's getting very low.
Oh, he's trying to tank them up. You can see piercing arrows again coming over the team. EDG, are they just going to wait for this one? The Baron is taken by Hetong, and Mako found himself caught out. Pawn gets gnawed into the wall and destroyed. Clearlove is probably going to die. He's not the tanky Evelyn that we're used to seeing as Deft. He's going to get stunned against the wall for almost what looks like forever. Nice use of heal. Phosphorus Bomb gets him a consolation kill, but EDG have been aced. They only lose Dandy, and Vici Gaming are going to pick up the second game, and once again, Vici split. They lose the first game, win the second, and doesn't matter who they're against.